Greetings. This is day 10 now. Just for you know, this is a video of me getting stuff off my chest. Yes. Day 10, like, so I want to get off my chest the way I've already mentioned, I think, pretty sure I mentioned this already, but I've been 10 days sleeping rough in Stoke-on-Trent, and I've got the money to get into rent, but because I don't have a guarantor, I don't have like a family member or a friend who's willing to be a guarantor for me, I can't get into private rents even though I've got the money for it, and that's just a little bit bonkers if you ask me, and I can see that it can be very frustrating. I've spoken to one of, like, quite, as you can imagine, like, I've been spending the last 10 days in and out of the town centre you got here. I've been witnessing things that I'm not happy about. Like, almost every day I'm seeing police having to come into the town, like, oh, their presence is there and you can see something's happened. Almost twice a day, sometimes I'll see that. There's other things that stop people getting into accommodation, which is like if they got a criminal record. Because I'm speaking to a lot of other homeless people, like, you get along with other homeless people if you just got that will to want to get along with other people that are, like, basically in your shoes as well. And what I'm really interested in sharing is also is that it is true that people can feel your intentions, like your desires, and what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do. So what I mean is, if someone knows you're willing to give them money, they'll ask you and they'll sense it from you, and it's particularly more noticeable with people that are more sensitive to, to their soul and how it all works. I don't actually know, but I do know it's like there's channels of flowing energy, and as long as we don't close our soul off, we have access to that. And the thing is, a lot of us have closed off our souls. Like, we close off our souls from childhood, and it's up to each one of us to open that up if we want to. I'm having a big, like, overwhelming feelings of sexual projections from people, men as well, but most definitely women. Like, the thing is, I know it because I'll go to bed at night, and the only thing I can, like, even when I'm speaking to, like, because I've not been around women for a long time, like, I've spent a long time alone in Scotland just now, and coming here is very euphoric for me because of the attention I'm getting. I'm getting huge amounts of attention, and it's almost like every woman that shows me attention that I'm attracted to, and even if I'm not really that attracted to it, but I'm willing to, like, be happy with, I get a feeling of sex, and it just stays there until I have, like, masturbate or, like, just find some addiction to get my mind or my focus off that feeling. That's what I'm dealing with, and it's nice, but it's not, and it is and it ain't, and it's like it's with everyone, and it's with, like, that's the whole reason why I'm diagnosed schizophrenic. But, like, more importantly, I think it's something that happens with every single human being once they start accessing their soul and start realizing that they've got these desires. And the desire that I need to start making is that I don't want to have sex with anyone. But at the moment, the way I feel is, I want sex with anyone. Like, not anyone, but within the, who I'm attracted to, and it's just it gets pretty bad because even the attention that I get from anyone, even if they're young, even children, and it's getting that bad that it just doesn't matter who connects to me. The feeling I get is a direct feeling of sexual feeling. It's a sort of a connection, I know, but and it's really upsetting. And I like it. I like it, but I don't like it. And do you know what I mean? It's freaking sex. It's like a feeling of sex, and it's there. It's feeling like, and I confirm it with people. I speak to some people, and they're like, "Yeah, you know, this is just part of being human." For those that I've speak to, and they're just aware that, oh yeah, they get these feelings as well. So this is normal. I don't know if this is normal, but like, because I know one thing, like, if you can feel your heart, it does feel like a huge pleasure, like the flow of blood. Like, that's what I'm feeling, I think, right now, and it feels like sex. I'm not gonna lie, it just feels like straight up sexual feeling. For some reason, it just, to me, it feels like that. But the feeling is so euphoric. It is absolutely like heavenly feeling, and you don't want it. I've come to a point now, like, I'm not even interested in like watching a movie or playing a game on my phone, because I'd rather stay with this feeling that I've got, because I'm getting so much attention at the moment. It's, it's I don't know. I think something about the attention that I'm getting is just making me get all this attention, and I can feel my heart, like, really, like, I can feel the blood flowing through the tube of it, and if I really try and focus on it, so it's really nice, but really, like, I don't know. I think I just want to get that off my chest. Yeah. Am I guilty about it? I don't know if I'm guilty. Like, is it a shameful feeling that I'm feeling? Like, but I don't know if it's normal to feel. I think there's something wrong. There must be, because I'm feeling. So what I think has got to happen is I've got to start choosing to just have one partner, and once I get one partner, just to stay with that one partner. But what I'm realizing is really happening at the moment is I'm not falling in love, but like, I'm finding huge arousal for any woman that's attractive, that shows me attention. And I know full well what's going to happen is that I'll get into a partnership with some lady, and I'll walk down the road, and I'll see another attractive lady, and I'm just going to get the same arousal. That's what's going to happen. No matter what words I use and try and say I'm going to be faithful, it's not going to happen. And so I need to figure out, right, what's really going on. And the knowledge that Jesus mentions is that you've got one half. You're basically one half. Like, this body is attached to one half of the soul. So the soul this is like the appendage. The body is the appendage of the soul. That's the words he uses. And the way I understand that is like, this is basically the robot, and the soul is me, but I'm only half of a soul. So I'm like, I've been split in half, and I'm just one side of the soul. And I've even come to admit that I might even be like the female side of the soul, which I hope I'm not. Like, I hope I'm not, but I've got to be like open to it. Otherwise, it's just painful. Because I've really been trying to find out, and I get told sometimes that, like, I'm a gay soul, and I'm the female side of it, and that's like, I don't like that. I don't want to even accept that, because at the moment I totally feel straight, and I feel attracted to women. Absolutely feel attracted to women. So is it a spirit just trying to mess about with me. Maybe it is. Maybe it could be true. So it's like one of them things. I've got to try and figure that out. But so getting back to what Jesus said, there's literally just the other half of me out there somewhere. That's somewhere, and if I want to have the best relationship that I'm ever gonna have, that's gonna be the relationship that is going to be the most important relationship in a sense. Like the other half of yourself is literally the other half of your soul. There can't be anything better, and we wouldn't eat, like Jesus says, we wouldn't even be attracted to anybody else. There would, like, you could look at every other lady, and if you're a woman, every man, and they could be stark naked, and if you had no emotional injuries in your soul, you wouldn't be attracted to them at all. You would never feel a feeling of sexual arousal with any of them. You'd only feel arousal for the other half of yourself. And that makes sense, but putting it into practice and actually trying to feel that way, it's difficult, because you start saying to yourself, right, okay, Nabil, it's just going to be one partner, and yeah, fine, it might take 100 years before you find them in the spirit world or whatever, maybe 1,000 years or something, yeah. And so no sex for you, it's basically right, until you find your partner. But then you sit there with your feelings, and your feeling is that, nah, I don't want to wait at all. I want a partner now, and I don't care who it is, as long as she's attractive and willing to, have fun with me. That's the way it's going to go. So that's where I'm at. That's my feelings. My brain's like, no, but I want to do that. But my feelings is like, I'm settled with this. And because my feelings are settled with this, that's what I think is happening, why I'm feeling all this sex with every lady. And sometimes even men. Like, I do have sometimes a man stare at me, and I'm getting this sex feeling inside my heart. And it's happened so often, I'm starting to get used to it. Like, there was one guy, we had a viewing, and he's like, we're talking, and as I'm talking to him, and as I'm trying to share truth with him, I can feel this huge arousal, like sexual thing, and I know I'm feeling it. I've got to stay feeling it to release it, but I know there is a part of inside of me that wanted, like, to just give into the feeling of it. So that what would happen if I gave into it would be, the control would be then given to the desire for sex, and the desire for sex would manifest. So what would happen? We'd probably both end up, smiling at each other sexually, and then, let's go somewhere to have sex, basically. And basically that's what happened in my first psychotic episode. Like, but it was I was being told by a voice, and if I didn't do what this voice was saying, it was in my eye, and it was a smiley face as well. Like, there was literally a face in my eye, and if I didn't do what it said, it would I felt this death. It was a death feeling, but because I'm not committing sins, like, I've got a sin and I'm doing sins, but they're nowhere near as bad as what I was doing at the time. It was like drugs, alcohol, and I was losing motor controls, doing none of that now. But still, I know this is I've got sin still inside of me, and I don't know how it all works, but even right now as I'm talking, I'm feeling a huge sexual feeling, and I can feel that it's like part of the heart. The heart it's the flow of blood, but it feels so, like, sexual. And I've got to keep saying it because I don't know what else it could be, but this is what I'm dealing with. But I'm very happy because I've been told, like, I might get a place now. My tenancy agreement just closed like 2 days ago, so I can start going down the route of getting the council helping me, because they've totally said to me, like, well, we cannot help you at all because your tenancy agreement is still open. But now it's closed, Now I've got some local connection that I joined the GP. They might turn around and say, well, yeah, we can provide you with emergency shelter, because that's the whole point of having emergency shelter. And so much for emergency shelter. Like, if you're got a tenancy agreement still open and you've moved areas and you're absolutely homeless because you can't get into private rent, which you thought you could. Anyway, I think no. Anyway, I'm waiting for someone to come out right now, and they're just gonna witness me being sleeping rough in the tent, and then put me on this register thing, register me somehow, and that's it. They're gonna try and get me into a place. And I think this one is going to be a shared accommodation, which ain't ideal, but it's definitely better than the streets, right? Because I'm sleeping in parks. It's not the streets. It would be much worse sleeping in the streets, because in the streets I can see you get bullied by anyone that walks past, can throw stuff at you, and all this horrible stuff. So it's not nice. But I've had a pretty pleasant time sleeping in this park. Like, I have not once been told to leave, and that's very nice of the park people who own the park. They came out on like the second day and said, "Can we call out the homeless shelter for you?" And asked if I was alright. So they definitely know I'm here, and I'm thinking that's a really nice thing. They just let me stay basically and crack on. I'm not causing too much mess, not even mess at all really. I haven't caused any, I'm not chucking rubbish out, and I'm cleaning up after myself. So yeah, anyway, that's I think the update from the day, 28th today, isn't it, of July. And more good news for me is that the day I get paid, hopefully I get paid on the 16th, right? I hope I'm getting paid that day, because they might not pay me at all, because my details of the job centre have passed over to this local job centre now. But if they pay me on the 16th, I can get straight enrolled, and it works out that it's the very last week that I can go into carpentry and get enrolled. So it's a very nice thing. But we'll see if I get paid. If I don't get paid, then that I've got to wait a whole year before I can enroll again. And whatever, that I think is the update for now. Oh yeah, do you know, like this day, there was this lady. She was a young adult. Okay, she was probably not even. She's probably 18, 19, right? She was, I think she was like sort of mixed race, sort of African, but British, if you know what I mean. Her parents might have been, one parent might have been English and one parent might have been African. But she was sort of well built. She had like this dyed hair that was red. She had red jacket, and she was all colour coded, sort of thing, and red. But when I looked at her, there was all these kids, like sort of bullying her, sort of thing, and sort of shouting at her, and she was shouting back at them, and I could see it all happening out there. I'm inside the coffee shop in the town centre, and I'm looking and I'm thinking, might get trouble. Like, I might have to call the police here. And the thing that I see was, it was really quite sad. When I first see her, I thought someone had ripped her trousers off her. Like, I thought she might have been wearing a skirt or she might have been wearing trousers. And when I looked at her, it looks like she was just wearing knickers. And literally, this is what, and because she's wearing this sort of top, but it's like all her forearms are covered. It's it's like a cardigan she was wearing. But when you look at her trousers, it looks like she's just wearing knickers. So I've sort of started shouting and escalating. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go out there and see if I can stop to this and call the police and get the police involved. And as I'm about to go out there, I've seen one guy come straight up and boot her. Like literally, he booted her. I think he was about only 13, between 13 and 16. He's booted her right in the back, and he started legging it off with 2-3 of these other people, and the rest of this sort of gang of kids, right from about 13 to 16, they're all just sort of still sort of looking at her with disgust and anger, and they're just sort of going, "Oh, you're wrong," and she's retaliating, and she's retaliating so well. Like, I can't believe someone can be booted in the back and turn around and go, "Yeah, what? Oh, yeah," and start. But I can sort of believe it. Like, but from a woman, that's tough. I imagine she was a very, like, she's certainly been choosing a lot in her life to use anger as a means to stay in control and avoid how she's feeling. Because if she was staying with how she felt, this is the whole point of trying to raise right now. If she stayed how she felt, I have no doubt she would break down and start absolutely releasing all these negative emotions that she's experiencing. She's experiencing a huge traumatic experience there. She's just been assaulted, and she told me she got headbutted actually before all that. But she's attracting it. She's wearing, and the other children and the kids there were telling me she flashed her tits to them, indecent exposure to them. So, and she's obviously very angry herself, and she's trying to attack them, and that's what was happening. And it just carried on until the police came. The police came about 10 minutes later, and things just seemed to cool down after that. But I just thought I'd get that off my chest, because there was a point where I was trying to talk to her and say, look, you're going in denial, and that's why, but what you've experienced is very sad. And I was trying to get her to feel the sadness that's underneath the anger, so she would sort of try and clock on that, right, oh, I'm getting angry at these kids, but really that's because I want to hurt them. And I was saying to her, like, you want to hurt these kids. So I was trying to get her to realise what's happening inside of her soul, and make her feel her soul more, so that she could eventually break down in tears, and I could be there to sort of like hug her and be, right, it's okay, allow it to come out of your soul. That way you can connect back to your conscience and figure out what is the best thing I can do right now, and that's the best thing we can do for anybody, or each one of us. But she just kept going in denial and getting really angry, and I started getting sad, but I denied my feelings at some point, and it just felt natural to do it. And like, I don't know. Anyway, it's good to get it out from my chest, and it's just nice because it is really true. And some of the kids listen to what I had to say after, and like I was trying to explain to them as well, like, your anger is all about denial, and if you want to be responsible for your anger instead of projecting it onto other people, you can use like a punch bag. You can use, or you can just shout, or you can just tense up and just be connected to it. And as long as you're connecting to your anger, you can release it responsibly without projecting it to other people. And I think that's a really powerful knowledge to share with people in general. And some of the kids are listening to it, like they really like kids will listen to it. That's pretty cool. Yeah, and that's the update for today, 24th, 27th, 28th.